You've heard the saying that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. It means we're all products of the environment that we're raised in.
Absolutely. We're born into families, and much of who we are is a result of how we are raised. For good or bad, many of our emotional responses are learned in our environment, like this scene from Everybody Loves Raymond.
Should I talk to Mom? Listen to me. This is about feelings. You know anything about feelings? Of course you don't. None of us do.
And that's funny because it strikes, I think, a chord with a lot of people. That's close to home.
That's how we're raised, and it all sort of happens with everybody in the family. How one person is, we all tend to turn out the same way.
Well, therapist Julie Hanks says it's healthy to understand these behaviors, and you call it taking an emotional family history.
Yeah, and it's just really being more aware of the patterns that we've learned growing up and how we deal with feeling happy, mad, sad, or scared. What's okay? What's not okay? And there's some fun things that we're going to talk about, ways that we can get more curious and find out that, so we have more understanding about ourselves.
I love the concept, because if we try to figure out, hey, what is it makes us tick? You can look around. You can you can get a roadmap by looking around at people, can't you?
Exactly, but it doesn't dictate how you will be emotionally. I think having that information empowers you to make changes, take responsibility, and then change the things about yourself emotionally that aren't so healthy.
And I'm thinking to some degree we have to approach this exercise, this emotional family history, with a little bit of walls down, right? You kind of have to take an objective perspective on your own life and your own situation, your own behaviors.
Every family has idiosyncrasies and quirkiness and kind of crazy things going on, and I am a big supporter of let's talk about it. Every family has, like I said, some things that aren't so healthy. Talk about it. The more information we have, the more we're empowered to make changes for good.
We've got the roadmap laid out here. We're going to walk you through this, and like Brooke said, walls down, so don't get too offensive here. You're going to walk through, have a little acronym here. The first one is an F, and you say get some feedback from outsiders, people who can see what your family might be like that you might not see.
Exactly, and spouses are a great place to start, and we may not like it, we may not be open to what they have to say, but I don't know, Darren, has your wife ever said, your family always fill in the blank, and you're like, they do? In my family, when I first got married, I said to my husband, your family, they get together and they play games, no one talks? And he would go to my family, your family just sits around and talks. What's wrong? So somebody who didn't grow up in your family system can give you a perspective that you don't have yourself, because you just think that's how everybody is.
You don't know any different.
Exactly. And so friends or colleagues, just notice what they're saying. Wow, I noticed that your family deals with stress really well, or deals with different opinions. So we're not just looking for negative things, we're looking for the positive things too, because they all impact who we are and how we deal with emotions in our daily life.
The next step in this process is the A of the acronym family, and you say to ask questions.
Ask the hard questions sometimes. There are things in families that we don't talk about. Maybe, why did Grandma and Grandpa get a divorce when they were 70? Or how did Uncle so-and-so really die? Or why aren't Aunt Betty and Aunt Susie speaking to each other? Sometimes we just don't talk about those things. And so I want to encourage viewers to get more curious and kind of push on some of those rules and ask about it, because it's in the environment and we feel it and we absorb it and we are learning those patterns.
Some of this stuff is a little bit fun, and we like talking and playing games and whatnot.
Yeah.
But the M gets into mental health history, because sometimes that really is serious. You really need to know that, because that will help you on how you go forward.
Exactly. And mental health histories are sometimes things that families feel some shame about or some stigma. And I think if we talk more about it, we can empower ourselves and our kids to get the help that we need and know what to watch for.
Again, that communication though becomes so key, opening up the dialogue and just talking about it.
Exactly. I work a lot with women who have postpartum depression, and sometimes they'll say, oh, I found out my mom suffered from that with all of her children, but they hadn't talked about it beforehand. It came out after. So if we talk about it beforehand, we can empower our families.
The I is to identify patterns and rules. What do you mean by this?
Identifying emotional rules. So what is okay, what's not? In my family growing up, sorry Mom and Dad, but it was not okay to be angry. That was not okay. And that actually caused me some problems emotionally, because I didn't know what to do with that. So there are rules that we have. Some families, it may be, it's okay to cry if you're hurt, but not if you're grieving. When we're grieving, we don't cry why we're stoic. I mean, there are just all these nuances in families, and to be conscious of it, it gives us power to change the things that we want to change.
Your L is life script. What exactly is a life script?
Well, if you think about a script, it's, you know, what a character says in a movie, right? Well, we have those in our families. So you might be the funny one. Your character might be the smart one or the athletic one. So we're passed down these scripts, and then also what is appropriate in certain situations. So an example might be when someone gives you a compliment, what is your family script? You say, oh, this old thing, oh, I just, you know, someone compliments your clothing, or oh, you look nice today. Do you discount it? It's what you say in certain situations. Someone says, I love you, you say, me too. You don't say, I love you back. I mean, there's just all these little rules that we live by, and I want people to get more conscious of what those are.
To break the script, even in some situations.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
Once we've done this, now that you have the information, and you've sifted through the emotional family history, that leads us to the why. And you say to check it against your own experiences in your family.
Yeah, so you'll get a lot of stories and information from extended family, but check it against your own experience. Does it fit? And if it doesn't, then you can throw it away, and just be more aware of your own experiences. Like, yeah, that fits for me. Our family, yeah, people do seem kind of depressed, or yeah, our family is anxious, and be aware so you can make changes for good in your life and in your emotional life.
Yeah, that's the whole part of it right there. The reason you're doing this, not just for entertainment value, it's just so that you can change for the better and know how you adapt to things.
And it's not to blame. Some clients are like, I don't want to blame my parents for my problem. It's about understanding and being more enlightened, so you're empowered to make changes.
On the flip side, taking ownership of it. I think not the blame game, but owning your own situation and being able to make changes accordingly.
And understanding who you are so you can share that with other people more readily.
Great tips. It's a neat concept, Julie. Thanks so much for sharing. We have more of Julie's tips on our website, and of course you can contact her through her website, wasatchfamilytherapy.com.
Thanks. We'll be right back with more on Studio 5.